You're listening to
Youth Ministry Answers.
From stuff you can use.
Stuff you can use.
Stuff you can use.org.
Welcome to Youth Ministry Answers. My name is Brooklyn.
And my name is Damean, and this is the podcast where you ask the questions and we help you find the answers.
Let's right.
Go.
Let's go. Right. We're here. Well, I am Brooklyn, like I said, and I love youth ministry. I love getting to be a part of the church, and I am the Chief Creativity Officer here at Stuff You Can Use. And Damean, my friend, tell us a little bit about you.
What's going on, Brooklyn? Well, I am a strategist here with Grow, and I absolutely love it, talking to all kinds of youth leaders, children's ministry leaders across the country, and having some good times in Jesus' name. So that's what I'm up to.
All right. Well, we're here to talk questions and share a few answers too. We have a question from Bria. Let's have a listen.
All right.
Hi, I'm Bria from Louisiana, and here is my question for you. How do you know if your students are actually growing spiritually?
Actually.
That's a good one. That is a good one. They're actually growing spiritually, Brooklyn. How do we know?
Well, I mean, I had one pastor who just had me count the baptisms, and I don't think that's bad, but it's not quite like a measure. You know, what do you think?
That's real. I mean, I've enjoyed the camp experiences where the emotions are running hot, and you're like, ooh, that's gonna be good when we get back to church. That's gonna be good when we get back to church. Or those people that raise their hand. Everyone who raises their hand and says yes to Jesus. Does that mean they're growing spiritually? What do you think?
Well, I know that counting is not a bad thing, but sometimes counting doesn't give us the whole picture. So there's like real growth, and then it seems to be like this implied growth. Like if you take the next step, like you go to camp or you get baptized. But sometimes it's not really easy to know how students are growing. So we've got some ideas, I think, to help us figure out how to know how a teenager is growing spiritually.
Sweet. You've got 4 steps leaders can take to figure out if their students are really growing spiritually.
That's right. I think there are 4 steps. There might be some little mini steps in between, but I think these will really help if you are trying to measure spiritual growth. So the first step is look beyond the big moments.
Oh.
It's really tempting to look.
The big moments are really big.
They're really big. They eclipse all the little moments. So you kind of have to start looking for consistent habits. Like what is happening, not just the emotions. Like it's not just about these big mountaintop experiences, but like the little things. And we like to frame these little moments in spiritual habits. There are 4. You might have a different way of looking at them, but I like to use these 4. Spend time with God, spend time with others, use your gifts, and share your story. And I think when you're thinking about those habits, it's easier to pick up on these little moments and give you a way to track real growth over time.
That's good. I love the tangible framework to help us recognize the intangible spiritual growth, because it can be hard to identify it. So I love that, those 4. That's really good. So what made you realize you needed to stop focusing only on the big moments in ministry, Brooke?
There are a bunch of things, but one of the big things was having kids of my own, teenagers of my own, and they kind of have had a different path. We're church planters, and we haven't had these big moments. We didn't go to a big summer camp. They don't go to these big retreats and conferences. And part of me was freaking out a little, thinking, how are they growing if they're not going to all of these things? But when I started to really look at their habits and the rhythms, like one of them is like leading the way. They're teching, every Sunday morning. They're in the nursery. They're like serving when they don't have to serve, showing up when they don't have to show up. They're checking themselves, like wondering, how can I be kind with this person that I'm with? So I think sometimes like we get trapped into looking at the big moments and we forget. And my kids kind of helped correct that for me. There are a lot of moments in ministry too, like where I could see, wow, this kid really is using her gifts and she's like turning that on. And maybe I've been focused on like some more extroverted outward things when really she's got like this opportunity to grow in this other area. So short answer to your question, the kids have been teaching me.
The kids. The kids tend to teach us at times, huh?
They
That's
do.
good.
They lead us. They're little prodigies. They're a little dumb.
They're good.
but also,
They do have their moments. They do have their
well,
moments.
their brains are fully closed. So anyway, they do point the way. Usually they help
Yeah.
us know what we need to look for.
That's good. So step 1 is look beyond the big moments. What's step 2?
Step 2 is find a framework. If you can use the 4 spiritual habits as your framework, you will find a rhythm and you won't overlook things. It's like so easy to just kind of think like, oh my gosh, like did people show up on Sunday? Did they show up on Wednesday? And what are you going to report? Like if you have to make a report, I don't know, if your churches need a report, I used to have to report every month, this is what happened. And measuring all that was really weird until I had a framework. Like, hey, this is how I'm seeing the kids in my youth group spend time with God. Blah, 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 blah. Here's how I'm seeing them spend time with each other. And of course, I'm going to talk about that event that helped them do that. But it's more me telling the story of like, I saw this kid use her gifts and she turned it like into this useful opportunity to serve. And then now we're sharing our story. We showed up at this thing. We did this other thing. So when you know, like you've got a framework, what you talk about changes and how you measure it changes too. And I think these 4 areas will just like help you see growth is happening and keep you accountable, and people will be really excited to hear, about it too.
That's good. I love it. So spend time with God, spend time with others, use your gifts, share your story. In your time of ministry, what have you found that students struggle with the most out of these 4?
I don't know. That's a really tough question.
Right?
I don't know. I think, spending time with God, I ask myself, are they reading the Bible? Are they asking spiritual questions? Are they talking about prayer like it's a part of their life? I think that's like a tough one just because it tends to be like them going to church is them spending time with God.
Yeah.
And so it's not always like obvious that they're able to spend time with God. So one of the ways that I try to like get behind that is just asking good questions in our small groups and making sure our leaders are checking in with them. Like, what outside of this experience are you doing? Like, what are things that you're experiencing outside of this place? Because spending time with others, using your gifts and sharing your story all seem a little more outward and easier to like engage with. But the spending time with God part, we definitely don't want to force it, but we do want to like hear about it. And so for me, that seems to be a little more challenging.
That's good. That's good. So first, look beyond the big moments, then find a framework. What's the third step?
The third step is to build these habits strategically. You want to kind of think about, how am I going to teach them how to spend time with God? How are we going to develop this rhythm of spending time with others in a way that helps them grow? Where in the year are we going to put the using your gift stuff? Because, you can't talk about every week. If you talk about everything every week, you really end up talking about very little. So I like to think a bit about dividing the year into quarters. So you've got fall, winter, spring, and summer. And you can sort of pick a habit per quarter and just make sure like you're really focusing on it. We use discipleship activities and events to achieve that. But you can do it in a lot of ways. You can do it through your small group experiences. For example, in the fall, we really like to try to focus on spending time with others because that's like the natural rhythm of a teenager's life. They're going back to school. They're dealing with a lot of people, a lot of new teachers, a lot of new stuff's happening. And it just makes sense to kind of focus in on like, this is actually a way for you to grow spiritually. Just because it's busy and life is changing, it doesn't mean you can't grow spiritually. So just pick a quarter, align it, and then kind of develop your strategy for spiritual growth based on those quarters.
I love that. That if I had the button of here,
No,
game changer alert, right?
That sound is so pitbull.
Well, look, when you're lining up your spiritual habits strategically, you gotta get your groove on a little bit to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A little bit. No, I love that.
Every time we do spiritual habit stuff, I'm gonna think now of the Pitbull concert. Thanks to you, Damean.
And groove. Now, what have you found to be the benefits of these habits being tied to events and ministry programs?
You don't have to think and worry about, did I cover all of the things that I need to cover? And you don't have to like stress about it. It's already planned. You already know in the fall you're going to like have a big event. And maybe, I don't know, maybe in the spring, it's like Easter. That's when you're doing Lent and doing other things. There's just like a whole bunch going on. So if you have it already mapped out, you don't have to stress so much.
I love that. Make it easy, huh? Make it easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so step 1, we're looking beyond the big moments. Step 2, we find a framework. Step 3, we're building habits strategically. What's the last step, Brooklyn?
The step 4 is to just track your progress. Things don't really you don't know if something's growing unless you measure it. So if you start measuring, then you can tell over time how things are going. That's why we recommend doing a spiritual habit survey. It's something that you can either make up on your own, but it basically helps teenagers think about their own mindsets, the changes in their behavior, their confidence over time. It's not a report card or anything scary like that. It's just a way to have conversations and a way for small group leaders to check in more regularly. And then you can also spot patterns if there's an area where students aren't growing spiritually. It's less oh man, I can't figure out what's going on here. You can really see, oh, we haven't really spent much time thinking about our gifts, or we haven't really focused much on spending time with others. Maybe there's a lot of tension in the group and you're getting some feedback that things aren't going well when it comes to relationships. You can look across the board to see where do we need to spend a little more time, maybe fine tune some things. But yeah, just step 4 is track your progress and see how things are going that way.
That's good. How have you seen reflection tools like this change the way students engage with their faith?
Well, I think, having a spiritual growth survey is basically being honest about your ministry. And if we're not being willing to be honest, then our teenagers will struggle to be honest about where they are too. So for me, I like presenting the survey as an opportunity, not just for me to measure someone else's spiritual growth, but for me to reflect and be honest and say, hey, where are there spaces in my ministry where there's an opportunity to grow? It's not what I'm really good at. It's not what I'm the best at doing. I mean, if I'm really, really good at teaching and our kids are spending a lot of time with God, but they're really suffering and they're not learning how to share their story or spend time with others, I think the survey gives not just them an opportunity to report how that's going, but also me an opportunity to get some feedback. So for me, I think it brings everyone to a space that's of open conversation about it and accountability. So it's been really good.
That's good. I love it. I love it. So today we talked about 4 things you can do to help your students grow spiritually. Number 1, look beyond the big moments, right?
That's right.
Number 2, find a framework. Number 3, build habits strategically. And number 4, track your progress. I love it. I love it. Nice and simple, so we can see that our kids are growing spiritually.
Yeah, and you don't have to make it so hard. Just put it on the calendar, and don't stress. Just make sure you spend time doing each thing. Life is very, very busy, chaotic. There's lots coming in a lot of different directions. But if you put these habits on your calendar in your teaching year and your discipleship plan, it will make things so much easier. You will thank you so much. And then the spiritual growth survey, this is a tool for reflection and conversation, and it's available. So if you need it and you don't want to make up something on your own, you can get that too. You can get it at growcurriculum.org.
Let's go. Well, thank you so much, Brooklyn.
You're welcome. This was fun. I hope Bria feels like we answered her question.
Yeah.
I feel like we did.
I feel like those are some really solid ways to actually identify spiritual growth. So thank you so much. You're welcome. Girl.
Hey, we're all in this together, as they say.
Yes, we are.
High school ministry. Yes. What was it? Yeah. High School Musical, the musical,
we're
the series?
All in this Nope, I don't. Nope. I should not sing ever.
Well, speaking of High School Musical, what are you into right now?
What am I into right now? Okay, I started a show. It's called The Studio. It's on Apple TV, and it's about, I love movies. I love the entertainment industry. I was an actor once in a lifetime, and so that's what I watched the show. So yeah, pray for me later.
You were an actor in a different life? That's interesting.
Yeah, I might have to bust out a headshot one of these days. Young Damean like this.
I have headshots, Damean. Isn't that
Do you
silly?
really?
They're from my childhood. They're very silly. No one gets to see them. But Yes, I do.
We can't have a
Um,
headshot podcast episode once? No? Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, let's see how it
But
goes.
yeah, that's cool.
What about you? What are you into?
Um, I'm watching The Summer I Turned Pretty with my daughters, and yes, it's a little cringy, but that's what I'm into. And I dropped our daughter off. We moved her into her college on Monday, and lots of hugs, lots of love, lots
doing
of
good?
kisses.
Doing
Yeah,
good?
but like
Yeah?
the day we were gonna leave, we took her to the grocery store, and I thought we would go in, hug her, pray with her, have this like moment. We get onto campus, and she's like, "Okay." I'm like, "You're ready for us to go, right?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, let me get out." And she was like, "No, don't get out of the car. I don't want you to get out of the car." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So she just got out of the car and walked away. And I was good. And then the tears just came, but it's fine. I was very proud of her, proud of us. Yeah, so we're all on a journey. That's where I am right now.
Good job, friend. You're awesome.
Thanks.
You're awesome.
I didn't
Hugs.
completely disintegrate. Yeah, thank you so much. Well, listen, I know life tends to hand us a lot more questions than answers. So if you have a question and you would like to submit it, you can do that. There's a link in our show notes, and we'd love to just chat and figure out some answers together with you. Thanks for listening to Youth Ministry Answers. We
Thanks
will
so
see
much.
you next time.
See you next
And thanks,
time, fam.
Damean. Bye.
Thank you, Brooklyn. Bye.